Welcome to The Pulse, a new audio series from GRESB. We're going to talk about the rising importance of performance in the evolution of the GRESB benchmark, and I'm going to be joined by my friend and colleague, Roxana Isaiu.
Hi, Chris. Hello, everyone. My name is Roxana Isaiu. I'm the Chief Product Officer at GRESB, responsible for our overall strategy and product development, but also part of the GRESB Secretariat, the GRESB Foundation, and part of the GRESB team for more than 10 years. So I've been exposed and involved in a lot of our current processes and the evolution of both our standards, our analytics, our reports, and basically everything that we bring to our members.
I'll just brag on Rox for just a half a second of saying there literally is no one on the planet who has done more or knows more about the evolution of the GRESB real estate standard than Roxana. So we couldn't have a better person to tell us about the evolution of performance. And so, Roxana, this is a big year for GRESB. We announced that performance scoring would be demonstrated for the first time in 2024 with an eye toward making it an integral part of the real estate standard in 2025. Can you explain to participants and our stakeholders why this is a big deal and a bit about how we got here?
Well, most people would say that it's long overdue because GRESB has been encouraging the standardization of ESG data for a very long time. But we're now at the point where with enough data available and with a critical mass of organizations that are ready to start competing at the performance level, so not just in terms of data availability, program strategies, and transparency of their ESG practices, but literally on ESG performance. We're now at the point where we're developing a methodology for measuring energy efficiency together with the Real Estate Standards Committee, with the Foundation Board, and preparing to introduce that into this year's assessment process as a supplemental insight next to the formal GRESB score. So it will not be part of the official GRESB score that everybody sees at the top of the report this year. It will be something on the side that everybody can comment on, review, and provide feedback on, because that is key to iterating it into a perfect methodology, or as perfect as it could be, because there will always be things to improve.
So, Roxana, this is a significant change. And as you said, some would say this is overdue. Some would say we are now at the point where we can fully support this. Why is it necessary, in your view? Who's asking for it? How will GRESB be better with this change going down the road?
I would dare to say that everybody is asking for it to a certain extent. And well, GRESB is a global framework. With a one-size-fits-all approach, it's difficult to capture or satisfy all parts of the market, starting from emerging markets or markets where ESG is making an entry, all the way to the very advanced markets where ESG is so embedded into the normal processes that it's no longer a new topic or something that's dealt with on the side. However, the key group that's requesting more bold movements towards evaluating performance are institutional investors. And that's, again, because they rely on GRESB to be able to engage and compare their investment on ESG in general.
Awesome. So let's talk about expectations. So let's kind of go around the calendar a little bit and ask, what is going to be different for a participant? Is something going to change in April, July, October, or into the following year? What should people expect in terms of the consequences and implications of this, whether they're an LP or a GP participating in the GRESB process?
So I'll start with the good news, which is that nothing will change in April. So if you are a GRESB participant or a returning GRESB participant, you'll log in on April 1st, and then you'll start filling in the assessment in the same way that you have until now. There is no additional data request that supports or that needs to inform this exercise at the moment. This was a very conscious decision made by the GRESB Foundation, also relative to the bigger consideration on reporting burden. Moreover, the reality is that we already have enough data and the most critical elements that would have to go into developing the methodology for energy efficiency evaluation. And so in terms of data input, nothing will change. You don't have to worry about reporting new data points. You don't have to worry about reporting data in a different way. The change will come into the output. So in September, when participants will have a look at their preliminary results, and in October, where the final results will be available, the benchmark reports will include an additional supplemental insight into operational performance of the reporting assets. So it will be an additional energy efficiency score that will be displayed as a side, so as part of the final output, but not counting towards the formal score. And if you're familiar with GRESB, you know that that's typically the process that we follow. Every new change comes with a bit of a leeway, a bit of a grace period, where at first it doesn't contribute towards the overall score in order to avoid very big shifts into the final scores.
Got it. And so, Roxana, who makes the final decision? So we go through 2024, we demonstrate this, we refine the scoring methodology, and then who makes the final decision about what happens in 2025 and beyond?
The same people that made the decisions about 2024. And in the end, it boils down to the foundation board. The foundation board has the final responsibility for approving all changes to the standards, including big scoring changes that inform the scoring weights. The foundation board is a group of institutional investors as well as fund managers that define the strategic development of the standards. And their decision-making process is heavily influenced and heavily informed by the recommendations of the Real Estate Standards Committee. The Real Estate Standards Committee, in turn, is a group of global representatives of, again, institutional investors, fund managers, listed companies. So individuals that understand and know the GRESB assessment inside out and are able to represent different investment strategies, different regional specificities, different edge cases, and agree on the general direction of what the standards should reflect and how should they evolve. And if you're curious to see who these individuals are, please have a look at the website. You'll see the full list of all constituents of the foundation board as well as the standards committees. And with this, we would also like to express our gratitude for their help and support and the time spent into all of these conversations, because I can tell you it's not an easy exercise, and the amount of time and commitment to making these decisions is impressive.
Awesome. That's very impressive. And it's so exciting to see the foundation be so integral to the decision-making process. So we're going to bring this to a close, Roxana. What is the bottom line for GRESB stakeholders when they think about energy scoring and maybe they think bigger picture? What does this tell us about the evolution of the GRESB assessment, the GRESB standard, and as they look to the future? How do you bottom line it for them?
There's a few things that I would like to leave everybody with. This is exciting. This is the first year when we see effectively a new way of evaluating ESG performance. We talked about ESG data collection, about the effort of collecting all of this information, about the data quality and the need to improve data quality. And now we're finally turning our attention to how do we measure performance and what does that mean? And important to understand that this is going to be a very iterative process. No matter how much time a group of people spends together to try to come up with the perfect methodology, it will only get better if it's used, if it's put in front of as many people as possible, and if it generates the kind of conversations that will help define the future criteria. So I would urge everyone to think of this as a very iterative process, and one that needs and invites your opinions as managers, as investors, as data partners, as organizations that deal with data, that understand what real estate energy efficiency means. And generally speaking, we need to be open to imperfections. It is unlikely that we'll be able to come up with something that's going to be perfect for everyone. And that's fine. We need to start from somewhere, and we can't let the best stand in the way of good. And we recognize that, and we perfectly recognize that the GRESB standards need to evolve to recognize and address some of their current limitations. And this is what we're working towards. It is imperative that we don't stand still. It's imperative that we start from somewhere, and we're doing our best with your input to take into account as many local specificities, sector specificities, and limitations that exist on the ground.
Great. Roxana, thank you so much for your insights today. And thanks again for your leadership of the GRESB standards over the last decade. As you said, this is a team sport, but you've played an outside role. So thank you again for your comments today, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.